What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to the Bianconerizone Live. This is actually my first time back to the live in a long time. But joined with me, as well, maybe not always, but as always, it's been him and Julian Genotti doing it a lot lately, is my guy, Alejandro Fancello. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
As good as we can be expected here lately with everything going on. I don't know. I feel like we're hitting a weird period when it comes to Juventus. Like, I don't know if it's because of the lackluster result. I feel like maybe we'd feel a lot different if the Atalanta match went differently, and then we headed into Salernitana. Regardless of how we personally feel about the output from the Salernitana match, while yes, they won it, do they look a lot better? I feel like maybe the vibe would be a little bit different because what I have right now, at least maybe it's me personally, or it could be me combining all of my teams just literally crapping their pants, urinating themselves lately. That like there's nothing really positive to talk about for me personally, but I feel like maybe we're just kind of waiting almost as Juventus fans because we're in a lull of a period when it comes to the teams that we're playing, but then also because you have the winter mercado, which, for better or worse, it's coming.
It's coming. I don't think we're going to do anything in it, but it's coming.
Yeah, it's kind of the feeling I got a little bit from it too. Anyway, the main story, let's just go ahead and jump into it unless you have anything really else that you wanted to do before we can hit some stuff afterwards. What's up, Andrew? Appreciate you tuning in as always. The main story for today, the one that we're really talking about, the conversation we want to have, is actually a conversation that I feel like maybe myself, I don't know if you have, but myself, I've kind of rolled my eyes at it in the past, or just been like, okay, that's fine. Let's shut down. It's a small but vocal minority. Maybe I'm wrong. You let me know. You have a better touch of the pulse of Juventus fans, maybe in Europe, than I do. But I feel like there's been a vocal minority that's really been pushing for the youth movement. And when I say youth movement, I don't mean youth as in like, hey, Juventus is old as hell. You had Ronaldo, you had Chiellini, all these guys that are 36, 30, mid to late 30s that are playing for the team. I'm talking about youth as in like these are kids. These are babies you're throwing out there. When we talk about players like Soule, Fagioli, Ranocchia, whoever have you. Does that seem right to you?
Yeah, wait. So the title of the show is basically that. But I don't like. Okay, so I think he needs to. So Allegri, I think he needs to bet in younger players. That doesn't mean on Sunday against Genoa play Soule, play Miretti. You know what I mean? Just drop in 3-4 players. I'm not saying that, but giving him 1 second it's not playing the youth. It isn't. So again, on what is Tuesday we played? It was Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday.
It was 2-0. Salernitana were awful. Let's be real. They were just awful. Mm-hmm. You could have given Soule 10 minutes if you really wanted. That's what I mean. And that's not even enough. On Sunday, let's say you're 2-0 up. It's a 70-minute. You can bring in Soule. You know what I mean? You can bring in these players. And not just Soule, also Caio. He's not playing. He's not getting minutes. Whilst Morata and Keane are playing horrible. Okay, Morata scored. It was a great goal, but just overall the last 2 months, I would say 1 month and a half, both him and Keane are just playing bang average. So, and Caio doesn't even get many minutes in between that. So that's strange. At some point, you need to trust the younger players also because just money-wise, on a financial situation, I don't think we have much choices going forward next season. Going into next season also. It's not like we have sell a Lake for 100 million or something like that. So at some point, you're going to need to rely on these basically younger players. At some point, you need to bring them through. And if they don't work out, that's why I mean bring one in.
Yeah.
Not 5 or 6 at a time. Get them all on the bench and give them minutes. Test them out one by one. If it doesn't work out, like they didn't cost that much money. You move them on, you get your money back. If they hit the ground running, fine. You don't need to spend 40 million euros to pick up a player that can do the same job somewhere else. That's basically what I think should happen.
Right. And no. Yeah, just to be clear, when I was saying coming in, I wasn't saying all those players that I listed off starting them at one time.
Yeah.
I was just saying bringing them into the club, bringing them maybe back from whatever, loan they're on or whatever have you, to get some value and use out of them. Because right now, obviously, two things we know. One, Juventus doesn't have a ton of money to pour into buying new players at every position right now. It can't be done. The midfield is what the midfield is. That's going to be a section of this I want to talk about here in a second. But then there's also the striker room now, which is not. I don't want to say it's a problem, but it's becoming an issue that you have to consider. Dybala, when's he going to be hurt? Give him a week, and he could be back on on the injury, whatever. I won't say the IR list, but you know what I mean. He's going to be injured again. Morata, there's two aspects with Morata. Either he plays like crap, he's injured, or, and I know I'm said two, and I'm going with three, or actually, no, that's it. He's injured, or he does not playing well, or there's also the option, or the kind of, known feeling when it comes to Morata, that he doesn't have a long-term future at Juventus right now. That more than likely, by the end of the season, he's going back to Madrid, right?
Oh, I think so. I think it's done. Like, he's not staying. Like if the club if the club is spending 30 million euros on Morata, I think they're insane. I really think they're insane. Like, he also just, like, people say 30 million isn't that much. Like, he's 29, he's on almost 6.5 million euros, and you still need to pay. Like, you already spent 20 mil on him, 2 years loan, 10 mil. Like, that's too much. That's a waste of money, in my opinion, because he ain't it. Like, if you, like I said, Julian said it, if you have him on the bench, as coming from the bench, I think he will be great, fantastic. But he's too expensive for us to keep on the bench at the moment, just wage-wise, and also paying another 30 million. Like, we don't have that luxury. Like, you need to get Vlahovic, in my opinion, and the striker. Like, plan B should be Keane and Caio. That's why Caio should be betting in at this moment in time. Like, that's why I said, like, he needs to get more game time. Loaning him out in January will do nothing for us, in my opinion, moving forward.
Yeah, and that's where I was trying to move the conversation to, was the idea that Morata, he has all these issues coming up, but when you're starting him, and I understand there's a little bit of that, Allegri sticks by his guys kind of thing. He does that, guys he has a history with, for better or worse. But the problem is, especially if the club's made the decision, hey guys, we're moving away from him, he's not the plan in the future, you're hurting your own club by playing this guy if you say you continue to start him throughout the rest of the season, and then Caio Jorge is sitting back there doing absolutely nothing. You bring him in, and it wasn't, and I don't think Caio Jorge, I'm not saying I expect him to be a 10, 15 goal scorer, but what I'm saying is I expected him to be what they said he was, which was the fourth striker option. But if he's not getting those minutes at that time, how can he develop? How can he be a useful piece if he's not getting any playing time worthwhile? You know? And then right now
you will not.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just going to say...
He's not developing at the moment. So
yeah,
it's kind of a shame, especially because like Morata and Keane are not playing great. Like, I haven't playing great in a while. So that's the most frustrating part. Like, if he doesn't get any minutes during this period, I don't think he's going to get any significant amount of minutes moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
No, it's also, the rumors, and again, rumors pop up and we talk about them, and I'm gonna address them. I'm not gonna just ignore them, but like the rumor is about potential of Caio Jorge being loaned out, in the summer or whenever. I don't even know if it's the summer, if it's the winter, or when they're talking about loaning him out. But like, to me, that almost makes no sense to me unless you have a feel on Soule of being better than Caio Jorge is at this moment, that you're going to replace him in that lineup, as the fourth man. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening, because I think Caio's more of a number 9. Soule isn't.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a smart option. Like Soule can play because Bernardeschi or Chiesa's out. Bernardeschi, I don't think he offers much going forward. And Kulusevski is hit and miss. So that's why I think Soule should be getting some minutes in these next 4 games, I think. 5 with Malmo included.
Yeah.
Like we play Malmo, like we play Genoa at home, Malmo at home. I think we go to Bologna and to Cagliari away, and then on the last day we play Venezia at home. So just looking at those games, you should be winning them all.
Yeah.
I think we said that before. Don't want to jinx it again, but we should be winning them all.
Yeah.
But like,
no, I mean that's fair to say.
Pictures,
yeah.
Like at some point, you should think that Soule gets a significant amount of minutes. I would say 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes. I'm saying against Genoa, another 20 minutes against Bologna maybe, or something like that. Like 1 second is like that's not the debut. Like okay, he's happy. Like what do you expect that he goes after a game on Instagram and says 1 second bullshit blah blah blah. Like of course he's gonna say happy for my debut, and people are gonna use it. He's happy blah blah blah. Yeah, like great, he's happy, but like if the penalty didn't happen, he was still standing on that sideline today.
Yeah,
like he was still waiting to come on. So people can like call each other out for being all negative, but like that was a shitty move from Allegri in my opinion.
I see. I don't know how I feel about it. Zenith brings up our member Zenith. Appreciate you tuning in and being a member Zenith. All of our live streams are brought to you by members like Zenith. Again, if you haven't already, consider joining the member squad. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff right now. But Zenith brings up saying, I see a lot of people saying it's good Soule got a game, but if it were me, I'd be pissed off. Kind of sharing the sentiment you were talking about. And then we have the other side, which is Andrew said, yeah, Soule is calm. Fans need to relax about it. There's nothing to worry about besides the league table at the moment. Here's where I kind of sit with it. I mean, it's just been a ton of nonsense on, and I understand Twitter's not the real world. Twitter, you're going to get what you get with Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to be vocal, and they're going to share spout their opinions or whatever have you, and you're going to get a minority of people compared to what maybe most people feel. I didn't think much of it. I thought, okay, hey, a youth player is getting in, fine. Like, but at the same time, like, I can laugh at it. I can laugh that it was a second. Like, it's fine to laugh at it too. There's humor in he literally got to walk up there and then the game was over and that was it. Like, it's fine. He's a kid who's probably making more money than most of the people that are Juventus fans. Like, when you think about the amount of money he's probably, I mean, I don't know what his wages are, but most, I would say the majority, he's making more money just to barely do anything. It's fine. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what it is. Like I said, I don't pay attention to that. But at the same time, yeah, it was kind of, it doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of things. Just run the timeout. Unless you're thinking he's a Make-A-Wish kid. And we're treating him like a Make-A-Wish kid. And this is your cancer moment.
Like, my point was, like, don't do that. Just for 1 second, don't do that. Just wait another game. Like, or bring him on way earlier. Give him at least 10 minutes. Or just don't do it for that game. Like, 1 second. Like, it didn't make sense. Like, it didn't make sense to me. But, the main point is, it's not helping Allegri's case at the moment. Like, he's already getting a lot of, basically, stick. Because we're playing awful. The league table. And the basically, how do you want to call it? Like the story around Allegri's always been like he doesn't give young players a shot, which is not really true, but that's a story that's out there. And doing like basically what he did with Soule is not helping him at the moment. It isn't like to calm down fans. Like if he gives them 15 minutes, it will calm down fans even more. Like if he comes out after games and doesn't say like, we played a good game when it was obviously shit. Yeah. Then fans are not going to respect him. If he comes out and he says like, it wasn't great, that's not how we prepared the game, we need to do better, blah, blah, blah. Some players need to do better without calling out names. He will get more respect from the basically doubting fans. Yeah. But if he comes out and he says everything is rosy every game, like nobody's believing that. And it makes it worse. It puts more pressure on the team, in my opinion, instead of just saying it wasn't good. But yeah.
See, I don't know. I'm so maybe in a different mindset when it comes to this. Like to me, I just think it means absolutely nothing. I think it doesn't matter at all. I don't. Okay, here's my question: When did Allegri walk him? Like tell him to sub in. When did he walk up to notify? How long was he standing
90, there? Oh, not long. Like it was 92 minutes. Maybe if the ball went out a bit early, he got 2 full minutes. Maybe if he was lucky. Like it was nothing. It was nothing. Like you were running 2-0. Like it didn't make sense. Like just don't do it. Wait for next week when the situation is maybe better and give him more minutes. Like that was. I don't know what that was all about. Like I'm not saying it isn't a big thing, but it's not helping his case with the fans. It isn't, because it looked very strange. Everything about that Dybala missing the penalty, everything. It was just a weird situation.
Did Allegri, has he addressed it at all? Has he commented on Soule at all? Okay, because the only thing I was going to say is, like, I'd be pissed if he came out there and was like, if he made a joke out of it, was like, see, I told you I played young players, or something like that. Then I'd be like, okay, maybe people have a point. I don't know. I just think people are making way too much out of this. I don't know. Like, to me, I imagine, like, these are kids. These are kids that are at a level of, he may be a great talent in the future. He may be, sure, the future of Juventus or something like that. I don't know. Or the future of the Brazilian national team now, or whatever have you. I just don't think it's a big... is it Argentina? Oh, Argentina. Yeah, sorry. South America. Anyway, yeah, Argentina. Sorry. Anyway, I just don't... I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to be honest. I don't care. I think you get in that time. I remember... Kyle George got in for like 1 minute as well before at the very end, like the 89th minute or 90th minute.
But I said at the time, like, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
I said it at the time, like, it was very strange stuff, like, but at least he got around 6 or 8 minutes. But I was like, oh, that's strange to put them when you're defending a 1-0 in a derby and you put on him. Again, it worked out because he held up the ball very well in that game. Just in general, it was a strange sub to make. But my point was, like, Chiesa's out. He's out for this year, so 21. Kulusevski, I said it before, is hit and miss, and Bernardeschi is awful going forward. Like, he is. Like, I saw a comment, I don't know who said it, like, saying in Germany they play, like, even Chelsea, like, they give those younger players, they trust them. They give them minutes, and when they need them, like, when the first option is missing, is only second option, they bring in a younger player and they play him. Like, they rotate him. Like, with us, we don't do that. Like, again, Bernardeschi, like, he moving forward is nothing. And Kulusevski, you never know what he's going to give you. So I expect Soule to get some minutes in the coming 5 games. 5 games. I expect him to get some minutes. To have some kind of impact. I'm not saying scoring goals or something like that or change the game. If he does, great. But like 1 second, I don't know.
It's a bit of a joke, and it was. I could see why people would laugh about it, but like I don't. I mean, again, to me, I think it's so minuscule. I think it's just being blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
I think the kid's more than happy to be able to step on the field for the first time with the first team. And he knows, I'm sure he knows, that he'll get more opportunities in the future. Like, I don't think this is the one time. I mean, maybe not, because it's Allegri. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like he has to be confident up there. Or, also if he's throwing a fit about it and being upset, I would imagine Allegri would be less inclined to play him in the future, too. Because that doesn't seem to be the mindset of somebody that you need to throw out there at that age either. Let's see. YFG was saying Soule wouldn't come out in the media and voice his feelings if he was upset. He's being professional, but on the inside, I'm sure he's feeling some way about it. Maybe, perhaps. But let's really kind of get into this and talk about some of these players too. I mean, where do you think, especially if we're looking at Juventus now, seems to be the consensus, or at least that seems to be the report, is that Juventus is looking at, because you can only buy so many players in the next Mercado or so, or you're going to keep using guys who, let's be honest, don't deserve to be there. Start giving chances. If you have guys like Rabiot, sometimes Alexandro's doing it, Like I said, Morata, guys that are not the future. Ramsey, whenever he doesn't play, he doesn't exist anymore, but he's still, taking a paycheck. You're better off utilizing some of that youth that you have, in,
Yeah.
on loan, whatever you want to call it. I was trying to think of a better term to say it. Got guys like the vocal group. I'm not gonna say minority because I don't know if they're a minority or not, but I imagine so. The Fagioli guys, and we started hearing the same thing with the Ranocchia. So first off, I want to ask you, where do you think, even De Winter and all that, what subsection or which group do you think is most fertile to be bringing in these youth players? Like, do you think in the strikers, in the midfield, in the defense, which one do you think would be the best way to start implementing, sprinkle them in here or there?
Well, it's the midfield because we need to replace a lot of people.
Yeah,
they're not good enough. Like none of them, bar Locatelli. So I think in midfield there are opportunities. Like there are, because again, we think so. We are saying the midfield is not good enough. Maybe Allegri thinks it is. Maybe he thinks he can still do a job with Rabiot. And I'm saying Betancourt, and he just needs to replace Locatelli, Arthur and Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
So we are thinking that everybody needs to be replaced. Maybe that's not possible. I don't think that's possible. You cannot replace 4 midfielders when you have holes at the back and a left back, a right back and center back.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in midfield, because you have a lot of midfield talent, you have, you have Rovella at Genoa. He's coming back. You have Fagioli. I don't think Ranocchia is ready. I think Miretti can be ready. I think he's more talented than Ranocchia.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he will get a chance. But you have Rovella coming back, and Fagioli is he trained for 2 seasons with the first team. He went to Serie B. He could be ready.
Mm-hmm.
I think that those are the positions who have the best shot. And then at right back, it's the Winter, because also he is a center back mainly, but he can play right back with De Chilio.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving. I know he plays a right back most of the time, De Chilio, but Danilo can switch, so you have another option. And at the same time, he can play center back, the Winter, and you only have you have Rugani, De Ligt, Chiellini, Bonucci, but Bonucci he's not always fit. Chiellini, Bonucci is getting older, and Rugani ain't it.
Yeah.
So I think those are the main positions. And then Bernardeschi's leaving on a free. Maybe we'll talk about it. He's not signing. The club is not offering the money he thinks he's worth, which is insane at the same time.
Yeah.
The club is offering him money at the first place, and that he is thinking he's worth more. But great. So you need to replace him. Again, we don't have the money to spend, and for a left back, and for 2 midfielders, and for a striker, and for a right winger. We don't have that money.
Yeah.
So Soule is a perfect candidate. He's at the club. You can bring him in, you can train with him, and you can play him minutes, because I think he's not ready to play week in, week out and win you the champs, the Scudetto. I don't think that. But I think he is ready to contribute during the course of a season. So I think this is a very important winter and summer. This is the time. This is the year you can turn things around. I'm not saying on the field, but just for the future, by bringing in those younger players, and don't spend. I'm just saying something.
Yeah.
Instead of spending 40 millions, or what we did, almost 40 millions for Locatelli, I'm just saying, it's just hypothetical. You could have betted in Miretti, and he does the same job, and you've spent 1 million euros in the past to get him in. You know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of the position that Juventus is going to be in, right? Because if you're going to if it's full steam ahead for Vlahovic, you're going to have to sacrifice, or when I say sacrifice, you're going to have to figure out where you're divvying money in other spots that are needed. And also, this is kind of I'm glad you set it up perfectly with talking about, adding in those positions, but most importantly, the midfield. We've kind of seen this weird, I don't know if it's weird to you, but to me, it's an odd, the transition for the midfield targets. The way it slowly has gone, we slowly lowered our standard a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying you're going from, obviously the out there dream of Pogba, but then you go to like a Tchouaméni, and then now it seems less likely to be Tchouaméni. Now it's maybe Zakaria, and then today, and you're going to hear more stuff of interest. Dortmund or whoever's interested in him. Slowly, it could be maybe instead of Zakaria, maybe we're looking at who knows. When you have really, if you're looking at the midfield, you need multiple guys, not just one guy, to really help. But
that's why I said I think that's a position the younger players have the most chance to get in, because you need if you get any kind of money for Rabiot, Betancourt, you're selling them if you're the club, you're selling them. I don't care what Allegri says. Like, you need to sell them because that's the opportunity you're waiting for, getting money for these players. At that point, maybe you can invest in a Tchouaméni, and you bring in a Rovella, and I think then is a perfect opportunity to bring in Fagioli also.
Yeah.
And I know people say you need experience in midfield, which I kind of agree with. Like, you need one experienced player, but like the players we have now are like Rabiot, Betancourt. They're experienced players, but are they good? No. So besides experience, you need to be great. You need to be good. Like, you need to be contributing to something. Then I prefer having youth over experience, but contributing to nothing for about 3 to 4 years now. So,
well, it's kind of
that's a dilemma.
Right now, given Juventus' situation, I think you're saying that too, is that definitely where we're sitting is Juventus now has to gamble on the unknown rather than sticking by old reliable, which really doesn't get much done. They're, right now, old reliable is starting to break down is the situation where you're at. So you need to start maybe putting a gamble in, and one of these guys may prove to be something worthwhile in the long term. Zenith made a comment saying, I think, and I don't mean anything negative when I say it seems to me that Europeans subbing somebody for 1 minute is taking the piss out of them, and more American fans don't seem to think much of it. And I think that might be a very good point. Maybe it's me. It also may be a cultural thing because of the different sports that are mainly prevalent in the two different groupings, where I'm used to basketball, American football, as well as soccer, but it's really those are the ones I grew up on first before doing that. And in those sports, you sub somebody in for whatever, and it means nothing. Like, it's just a sub. It's not it doesn't. Playing time isn't valued as it is in this circumstance. It's not as much of an honor to go play. It's usually just like, be honest, basketball. You get subbed in at the end usually when it's like a team's getting their ass beat and they put in the white guys, and that's what it is, to be honest.
Also in these sports you can come in and come out. With football, like, you're coming in, you're coming out, is done. But I saw a lot of Italian people agreeing with the sub. Also a lot of Italian people or other European fans not agreeing. I think it's divided. I think it was just at the moment, like, everything is going bad. Like, the pressure is on. The talks around Allegri for him not using the youth, blah blah blah, all those things, and then he does that. Like, it didn't help him. I think it was just a moment. Like, if we were top of the league at the moment and he did that, we all be laughing about it. Like, everybody would be laughing about it.
Yeah.
But it's just a moment. It didn't help him. Like, I'm over it. Like, at the time it was like very strange, but the day after I was like, okay, it's done. Like, I don't know. I don't care. Just move on now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe hopefully I don't know, maybe Allegri learned something from it and won't do something like that again. If it's that controversial of a thing that was done, I would hope. I mean, anyway, sorry, didn't mean to backtrack right there, but that was something that really stuck out to me there for a second. I think one of the things too. So if we're looking at, like you said, you went back and we said Soule is a good option right now because obviously his talent is sticking out enough that Argentina thought, hey, this is a guy that I want to get before Italy could have a chance to put him on our squad. So that sticks out enough then. If we're going to narrow it down, say we're looking at the midfield right now, Who are you narrowing it down? I knew you talked about Fagioli seems to have enough. I'll be honest, I'm not a great read of talent. Like when it's out there, it's hard to tell in these preseason matches or these matches for lower level clubs where you're playing against lower level competition in City B. It's really hard for me to really tell if he's a great talent. Obviously, you bring in Ravella. Ravella's a big help, so I'm not counting Ravella in this group because he's performing well at Genoa. But I'm saying if you're looking at the likes of Ranocchia, Fagioli, Meretti, which one do you go for first? Who gets your first call up?
Oh, it's Ravella because he's ready.
No.
Like he's ready.
Well, I'm saying
besides Ravella,
doesn't count because he's already proven. Yeah, sorry.
It should be Fagioli because I think he's also ready to contribute now. Like he is. I think he played a full season with the first team. He's playing at a very good level. Again, it's Serie B, but that's okay. Like Verratti played in Serie B and he moved to PSG. I'm not saying he's Verratti.
Yeah.
I'm just putting into context. Like you can go from Serie B, come to a team, and contribute now. Mm-hmm. We're not very good at the moment. Like it's all over the place. So the pressure, like if these players come out, we need to accept that they will make mistakes. They will make mistakes. They won't be flawless. They won't be perfect. But I think that's okay because at the moment, experienced players are not flawless. They're not perfect. So it will give, like the pressure will be on, but I don't think they will be on from the fans. Like they will understand that they need time to bed in. That's why I say bring in one at a time and just play Soule now. And you can see, okay, we can keep him in the first team. If you let Bernardeschi go, we already have his replacement. Like we don't need to spend money on him. The next season you bring in Ravella, he's ready because he's showing it that he's ready. Then you can add Fagioli to the team and give him minutes here and there. And then you can see, okay, you can also do a job. Yeah. And then you move on. Then you don't need to expand extra money on players that you basically have in-house. You need to develop. That's fine. Like that's okay. At some point, you're gonna need to do it. Like the way football is going. Like just look at Chelsea. Like Chelsea have Mason Mount. Okay, he went down on loan, but I think he had this breakthrough when he came into the first team. Reece James, Loftus-Cheek, Hudson-Odoi. Like they're all academy players. Like it's insane if you look at the Chelsea squad. Like they're all academy players, and the guy that scored the first goal against Juve, I forgot his name now. Chaloa.
Yeah.
Chaloa. I forgot his name. They come all from the youth academy. It's insane. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
Like they are doing, and they have a lot of money, but their owner Abramovich said we need to be self-sustainable now, and that means bringing in new players. If they don't work out, move them on. Like they have some value. Like how it works. Like they play for Chelsea or they play for Juve first team, you have value at some.
Yeah.
So even teams as Chelsea who have a lot of money, they're doing it because they understand like we need to be doing it at this point. Look at City, Phil Foden. Like he took about 3 years before. Now he's a starter. They spent 100 million euros on Jack Grealish, and he's on the bench because Phil Foden is playing better. But he took Pep, used him for about 3 years in the first team, giving him minutes. Get him out, subbing him in, subbing him out, training, all those things, and now like he's a world beater. He's amazing, and that's what I mean by giving Soule 30 minutes here, giving him a start here, another 50 minutes. You know what I mean? 45 minutes, another start, and then you can see if he's ready. If he isn't, great. But I'm saying this again. Phil Foden took about 3 years before he made his breakthrough in the first team, and he was with the first team for 3 years. Like he wasn't loaned down, he was in the squad for 3 years, getting a few minutes here and there, and now he's outplaying Jack Grealish, who they spent 100 million on.
True.
So
I just wonder, I guess, maybe there's part of me mentally that wonders, like, what is the talent? Of course, there's plenty of Italian talent out there. We know. Italy just won the Euros, and then Italy has a history of talent. It's just, I think it's always maybe that mindset starting to creep in a little bit with me being like, does the Premier League have better, academy players coming up through there than maybe Juve may have? I don't know.
I don't know. Like they give them more of a chance. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's true. Like they get more chances over there. They get more chances because just look at all the top teams like Arsenal, Smith Rowe, Saka. Like they're coming from the academy. Man U is Rashford, Greenwood from the academy. City is Foden, and they're now bringing on another striker. I forgot his name, but they're doing it. Liverpool, Henderson, Trent Alexander, Anderson. Like they're bringing those players out of the youth setup, like, and not once every 20 years like we do with Marquisio. It's like once every 4 years, 5 years. I think that's a healthy quota, in my opinion. Like you should aim to do that. Again, ever since we started the under 23 project, the quality increased. It did, like it really did. So again, we just started it, I think 3 seasons ago. So it's still very fresh. I get that, but by the looks of it, some of these players are knocking on the door big time.
Yeah.
Like 5 years back, nobody was knocking on the door because I watched the under 19 play and the quality wasn't good. Like, I'm going to be honest, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Like you have players like Clemenza and like those players, but they look decent, but you can see like they're not going to make it. But at this moment, like you can see some of these players, maybe they can make it. Like a Soule. Like he looks different.
Yeah.
So it's just about giving them a chance at this point.
I think one of the things with me personally, and I apologize, guys, I'm going to talk about it again. It's just me, like my experience as an American. That's why I'm asking for like assistance and understanding this a little bit better with you or whoever else in the chat wants to tell me. Like maybe it's more cut and dry here in America with American sports. Like when I say basketball or football, you have high school and all that stuff. Then you go to college usually. Since they force college, after a bit, and then they go from there, they go pro. So it's like I know where to be looking, if that makes sense. Like you have the academies in Europe and all that, but it's like I know where to be looking, and it's televised for me to watch college games and all that stuff. So who's the top tier talent, and those guys are getting the spotlight. It's a little bit more difficult, at least maybe being an American here, overseas, trying to figure out who the next big talent is for Juve. The Italian talent coming up, especially if you don't get to watch just hours upon hours upon hours of, Primavera or whatever have you kind of league. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. But yeah, football, it's different. Like there's not like you can get players all around the world. So it's completely different. It works different than like NFL and basketball and all those things, NBA. So it works different. But I think we don't have a choice just because of the financial situation. We don't really have a lot of wiggle room, almost no wiggle room. And I think like the quotes or the stories that are coming out surrounding Arrivabene are basically like he is one of the, how do you want to call it? The penny meister, how do you want to call it?
Like a penny
the one
pincher,
who
cheap,
guards the money.
Cheap. Oh yeah.
Like he's like he comes across to be very not cheap, but like very. How do you want? Like he will count every single euro. Like that's the type of guy he is. If you read into it, when he was a Ferrari, same thing. Like he will count every penny, and I think that's the direction the club wants to go in because they like. Let's be real. The last 3-4 years, we threw away money. Like it didn't make sense. If you look back at it now, you think, "Oh, we really did that. We really did that." So I think it's done.
There's
like they will buy players, but I think they will push Allegri to start using in-house players. I don't want to call it products, but in-house players. I don't think we have a lot of choice, and I think the club will make that very known to Allegri. Like it is what it is. We don't have that great of a budget, and at some point, I think Allegri knows. Otherwise, he wouldn't have signed that 4-year deal or 2-year with an option.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there comes a point where the money gets tight and you're not going to be able to spend more. But the one thing that does worry me, my history, my knowledge when it comes to sports is usually when you start penny pinching, the results take a dip. And that's the only thing. I mean, it's the results have taken a dip before the penny pinching started.
But wait,
so
I want to say one thing. Chelsea, they got a transfer ban.
Oh, yeah.
2 years ago, they got a transfer ban. Like they could have no transfers. What did they do? They just started the youth, and look at them excuse me, look at that youth now.
Mm-hmm.
They won a Champions League and they are among top players in their position in Europe because they were forced. Again, they were forced to using their youth. But at that point, because then at that point the stories were coming out that the owner Abramovich said, "Oh, that's the way to go now.
Yeah.
Like I will buy you players, I will do that because again, that's necessary. Like it is necessary. But the policy, I don't know if I read it good, was like to bring in one player from the academy every 3 to 4 years, betting him in the team. If it doesn't work, move on. But the policy is now to bring in one player out of the academy every 1 year or every 3 years at the other was. That's the policy. You keep him 1 year. If the coach it isn't working out, it's not what it is. Move him on.
Yeah.
Again, that's a great policy.
It's not bad
Again,
because
at some point.
Go ahead.
No, because the Lega, basically the VGC, were talking about implementing a rule saying you need at least X amount of Italians on the bench in the team.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about it years ago, and at some points, I don't think that's the worst rule.
Yeah.
But I get why the teams were basically saying no, because they wanted to have the rule installed. If they want to do that, X amount of youth players. So it shouldn't be all Italian. It could be a Soule, something like that. So there's an ongoing discussion at the moment. But I think that rule, even if it's forced upon clubs, I think is a kind of good rule, especially for us, because we might be forced into doing it. Because we are not doing it. Like the last player was Marchisio, and that was by fluke. Like we went to Serie B, we loaned him out to Empoli. He came back because, let's be real, the quality of that team, of those teams, they were not good enough. So Marchisio got a shot. But if it was now, Marchisio was not coming back.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Well, and one positive thing, too, you can take from it is you can look at it, maybe in the case of Fagioli. Guys who want a guy like Fagioli in there, if Juventus is forced to implement that, where you have to add a guy, like yesterday, last year, he would have been the guy who would have been implemented and like cemented in the first team. And if it didn't work out, I don't know if that's an option where, and I don't know all the rules when it comes to, once you play so many games, you can't go back to U23 or something like that or whatever have you. But where, if it doesn't work out, you sell him, you make money off him. One of the lower teams is going to take this guy. It's not going to be a situation where you're just stuck there and you're like, this guy's on the first team now and we're paying him who knows what. It's obviously going to be a lot less than you're paying your top tier guys, your Locatellis or whoever that you just purchased. So to me, it's kind of a win-win. And plus, it's also good if you're thinking on it. And I know not everybody cares about it, but if you're thinking on a national level, it's a good way to find talent for the the national team and stuff too. Obviously, that stuff's going to stick out, and it should at least. But in that situation, that's the way I would look at it. YFG Jab was saying, in my opinion, a space in the midfield between Fagioli and Ranocchia, Rovella is bound to play for Juventus. So yeah, I think definitely those would be my options. Probably my top two, because like Rovella is going to be in there regardless. I think at this point it's a foregone conclusion that Juventus needs. They're not only should they add him, but they're like in desperate need at this point to add him since they already own him. And you can't just go and buy everybody else. My one question, and that's the one reason I left this one up. I know there are a lot of you guys commenting about Ranocchia, Fagioli, whatever have you. I got this weird feeling, and also, guys, we need more likes, so hit that like button if you haven't subscribed as well. But the thing I took from it, and I guess maybe do you have any insight of this? Because we talked about it, and I just let it go at the beginning of the season. The preseason stuff with Fagioli. Do you remember the nonsense of? Him getting pulled, not playing because he showed up late with whatever, and then he never played, and then he really barely got any other time after that. Is there any worrisome there when it comes to Fagioli and like his just maturity level? Do you think with at least conflicting with Allegri?
It happened. Like Pellegrini was also late. Frabotta was also late that day. Like it happens. It shouldn't happen. It happened. I don't think that's a problem for Allegri. Otherwise, like Cancelo, he was coming late to training on a weekly basis. Yeah, he was. Like he was coming late sometimes, not even showing up sometimes, or sitting in training, not doing what he should do, and he was playing games because he was good. Like period. Vidal was out partying, like he was, but he was that good. like you're gonna play. Like I don't care what you're doing off the field. If you're on the pitch and you perform, great. If you go out to party and in 3 days time you step on the pitch and you drop an 8 out of 10, great. Nobody's gonna like Buffon smoked his entire basically career. Like nobody cared because he's the best goalkeeper ever. Like nobody cares. So I don't think that's an issue.
The only reason
If you perform, if you have talent, everybody will look away, even the club.
And I'll be honest, I haven't followed. Like I said, I know you said Fagioli's performed very well in City B. I don't know how Ranocchia has performed.
Yeah.
But like Ranocchia.
Oh, Ranocchia's.
Okay.
That's why I said like everybody's saying preseason. I think the most talented out of the bunch, just pure talent, is Miretti, in my opinion. Like watching them all three, even at the under 19s the season before, like Miretti to me seems like the most talented out of all of them, even out of Fagioli. But Fagioli is further ahead, so I think he should be the next one up. Like if he's not in the first team next season, you need to sell him. Just make money out of him because like it's not happening then at that point.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Let's see, and this is a name that's popped up as well. A new Dan Lyon said maybe we should look at Luka from City B as a backup if we don't get Vlahovic. Is that a player that you liked? Is that the one, Luka?
Yeah, but like no.
No, I mean,
the alternative to Vlahovic.
Right.
No. Yeah. Like it needs to be Vlahovic. Period. Like you cannot miss out on Vlahovic. You cannot, because I know. Like okay, so I said it before. I'm not a fan of Scamacca. I am not, because I think his conversion rate is very poor. He improved that this season, so credits to him. Like that's the problem I have with him. His conversion rate wasn't great. Like he needs a lot of chances before scoring. He's improved that this season. So if you don't get Vlahovic, I think the club will go for Scamacca.
Okay.
I think that's the club plan. So it's Vlahovic or it's Scamacca, because the policy is young and if possible Italian. Vlahovic is better than Scamacca. He is. So it's Vlahovic. If it's not Vlahovic, by the club's policy, it's young Italian, it's Scamacca.
Yeah.
But then again, is he up to the level to get you winning in Europe? I don't think so. So it should be Vlahovic at this point. It should.
Yeah, that's one of the latest conversation that's really been floated out there. And that's why I'd started and I was saving it for the end, or not the end, but Andrew had posted first comment of the day was, "Hey guys, I think we should go sign Scamacca for 50 mil. Is it 50? Is that how much they're asking for him now?"
Yeah, they will ask around. No, I don't think 50, but they will ask around 40 million euros.
Yeah,
easily, because they wanted around 30 when he was scoring 2 goals a season. So imagine now.
I just think, God, see, I was pushing. The only time that I really wanted Scamacca was when they could have gotten him for like 20 or less than that a year ago. I guess it was. Was it a year? Yeah, I think it was a year ago when his name was floated out there.
It was this summer.
No, it was it was summer, but there was also he's floated out there in the winter mercado. Because I had written up that piece about him, basically just saying I think it was a solid option to me. If you look at like what we have, and I don't know enough to talk about how Kyle George is going to turn out long term, but I feel like he would have been maybe a better option than Kyle George was when we picked him up. But he also would have cost more at the time than Kyle George was pennies when you think about it. He was like 6 mil, but I also don't know what Kyle George end game is going to be.
Because wait,
it's a different build.
Andrew Finham saying that was a joke, and then OJ Chowo was saying 50 mil. That's a joke. I didn't say 50, but they will ask for at least around 40. So 35 plus bonuses. It's a swallow. They will ask that. And people could, like, again, I think that's insane. Timothy is saying Scamacca is going to explode in 2 years. Like, that's great, but we need exploding next season. Like, we cannot wait another 2 years for Scamacca to explode. I get that point, but like, you move on Morata, you cannot bring in Scamacca and wait for 2 seasons for him to explode, because we don't have that time. Like, you have time for players, but for a striker, number 9, like, he's scoring you, like, he's a focal point. Like, he's the reason you're gonna win stuff or not. We cannot wait 2 years. Like, he needs to be ready now, and that's Vlahovic.
Yeah. Spiritos, I think we're there in agreement with you about Fagioli would be the one that I think will get the first opportunity. That's not Soule. Let's see. I'm going to try to scroll through some of these before, because we've been going on for almost an hour today. Let's see. Owen J. Cho says, I think I still don't see Allegri playing youth. He just rides the old guys until they retire. I think it's going to be forced on him. I don't think this is going to be something that he's choosing to do, but I think the club is forcing this on Allegri because just the way the pieces are falling right now. Guys getting hurt, no money. He's gonna have to. Otherwise, you're gonna be playing with the same bleep. And then if you continue to drop points, especially in the coming month with the teams that we have that Juventus is playing, where any other year I would say this is a give me month where Juventus should be able to show up and collect 3 points each game until the winter break. Obviously, it's not that situation, but we'll see what happens. And I know some people were commenting earlier about all the teams that were dropping points. Great, but I need them to do that like 6 times before I really feel good about anything, to be honest. Let's see. What's up, Dominique? Appreciate everybody. Guys, we have 23 likes, 30-something people in here. Let's get those likes up to 30, please. I really appreciate it. It really does help us. Like we said, we do these lives. It really helps us to reach more Juventus fans, to grow our channel. So all you have to do is just hit the like button. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. But we appreciate you guys. We try to have these videos out for you each and every day. C-Spawn says, we were patient in the squad since last season. They still are getting worse. Now it's time to give a chance to the youngsters. I don't care top 4. I just want to see they're improving and adapting.
We should care about top 4.
Yeah,
we should. Just money wise, we really should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like as much as.
But I got his point. Mm-hmm. I got his point.
As much as like again, I know I'm a bit of an anomaly. Yes, I care about Champions League. Yes, I want to win Champions League. But like right now, I'm just really wanting. Well, I was hoping this year the competition would be for the Scudetto, and that's what I want to focus on. But yeah, as much as like right now, I look at it and we go to the Champions League, and if they win, and I'm happy. But I'm not going to be heartbroken whenever they lose and get knocked out because my expectations are set accordingly.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I get like we saw like if we face a decent team like Chelsea, we're getting smoked this season. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We can get angry. I was angry because we shouldn't get smoked like that. I get that you lose because Chelsea are obviously the better team. They are. Like only a fool will say no. But the way we lost is not acceptable at the end of the day. It isn't. Like you're better. The squad is better than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we should. I know people saying, "Oh, but we get in, but we don't win." I get that, but at the end of the day, if you want to compete in the future, you need that money. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. You need that money. Europa League money is nothing compared to that. It isn't.
Yeah. If you want guys like Vlahovic to come and stay, you got to make sure they get paid big time.
Yeah.
And then Owen J. Cho said Raspadori is better prospect than Scamacca, in my opinion. Unfortunately, it seems Raspadori's. It's not even like really a question right now because he's more than likely going to Inter, right? So like, I don't think.
Yeah, but Scamacca's more of a number 9. Raspadori, yeah, but like he can play on the right also. Mm-hmm. But just in prospect, yeah, he should be better.
Yeah,
but it doesn't ever always work out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because Immobile was rated. Yeah, maybe it worked out like that. Because I want to say Immobile was rated higher,
yeah,
or more highly compared to Insigne, and I wanted to say it didn't work out, but maybe look at it, maybe it did work out.
Yeah,
for Immobile at the end of the day, but yeah,
that's true. Let's see what else we got here. But let's see if sorry, I just did want to touch on these. If anybody had any comments that were really good, because it's been a while since I've been on here. But the issue is, according to Allegri, he claims he's using young players. I think Allegri's idea of young players between 21 and 24, not necessarily as young as Soule.
Yeah. I kind of agree with them.
Yeah, I mean, but
I said it before. 24 is not young. It isn't young.
No.
Especially if 24 and you won the Euros, it's not young anymore. You're experienced, period.
Yeah, I mean, 24 when it comes to, if you're thinking actual football player, like that's middle age to me, because like not many guys.
Yeah.
You have to be a serious talent to make it to 36, to be a Chiellini, to be a Ronaldo, whoever I said the name, like people like that, to continue playing into that age and actually be like actually contributing, not just being on a team kind of thing. So yeah. What do you think about when we're looking at the defense and any kind of players there? I know you talked about potentially De Winter could be playing. What do you think about? I know a couple people threw. I can't even talk over my tongue right now. Some people threw up about Dragusin, about him coming back,
No,
yeah. Are there any? What would be your option that you go after? Would you go after an Italian youth? I know was the one player that got thrown around. The dude who I said I can't even remember his name, but he looks like Chiellini with a wig. There's that player. There's a bunch of the Empoli player.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I don't even. There's a bunch of them.
I forgot his name.
Yeah, well, that tells me enough.
So I know we don't have a lot of money, but we should be going for Botman from Lille, in my opinion. We should be like he's still young. I think he's 21. He will cost you something, but Dragusin is not ready. He is he's not even playing at Sampdoria. And the times he played, I wasn't really convinced with him. Again, that's normal. It was his first time, but I don't think he's ready to fill in that spot at the moment. Like you drop Demiral, you drop Romero. You are stuck with Rugani because he's only here because nobody's paying his wage. Chiellini, you know what Chiellini is. Bonucci is getting old. It is what it is. So you need to bring in younger players. And I wanted to say with a bit of experience, but like if you're bringing in Botman, he wants to play. Like he's a starter at it. Like he wants to play. And that's why you shouldn't have given Chiellini 2 years. You shouldn't. I like Chiellini, like he's a legend, but you shouldn't have given him 2 years, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you want to move forward as a club, nothing against Chiellini, but like at some point you need to move forward, and you're basically hindering yourself to bring in players like Botman because they want to play. They're not coming to sit on the bench, and that's the point. And now you're stuck with Rugani basically. Wait, I saw your text.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So you're stuck with Rugani, and that's a very frustrating situation because what are the options now? Like nobody can pay Rugani because he's on almost 3.5 million almost with bonuses. That's insane for that level of player. Like he cannot go to Cagliari. They're not paying 3.5 million euros or Genoa. Like they're not doing that. The only hope for you is Fiorentina says, yeah, we want him, and Rugani say, okay, I'll drop my wage to 2.8 or something like that.
Yeah,
that's the hope. That's the only hope there is.
Yeah.
So basically, bringing in Botman, even if I want to, it's not realistic for the club because he wants to play, and Chiellini is there. You know how it is. So that's why I said the winter, because he will understand. Like he will accept sitting on the bench more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. But the defense need to be sorted out.
Yeah. Areza was saying something about starting De Winter against Malmo. De Winter's not on the Champions League list, right?
No, he isn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, he is.
Oh, is he?
He is. De Winter is.
Okay.
Yeah, you could play because he's at the club for I think 3 years now, so he shouldn't be on the he doesn't need to be on the list. Because he played against Chelsea, he came on. I think he's 3 years at the club. I think it's his third season. I think you need to be at least at the club in the youth system for 2 seasons. So you don't need to be on the list. You're basically classified as a youth player. You can come on.
Oh, see, I didn't realize that. Okay.
So that's again like against Malmo. You're not finishing top 4 unless Zenit does something crazy against Chelsea.
Yeah.
At home, maybe Chelsea. Like they need to travel to Russia. It's snowing. Premier League. Maybe they say, you know what, I'm playing 9 different players, and Zenit somehow get a point.
Yeah.
Then you can finish top. Like, but even if you play the winter, you should be beating Malmo. Like they're on the same level as Salernitana, in my opinion. They're off. They are. You should be beating them at home, even if you play the winter at right back.
Yeah. Definitely. Dominic brings up a good point saying Allegri is more likely to play Rugani than De Winter, which is true.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. As much as,
But like, if you want to make a statement as a club, you shouldn't. Like, you need to make clear to these players, like, you're not playing. Like, it's done. Like, do you really want to sit on the bench when you're only 28 or 27? Is that what you want? So maybe some of those players say yes. Okay, then you're stuck with them. Maybe some of those players say, you know what, I'm going to drop my wage and I'm going to move out. I want to play. You never know. But that's a statement the club should be making, or Allegri.
Yeah. Yeah. I Sorry to say. Okay. Sorry, I had something pop up real quick. All right. Andrew's saying our forwards need to put big numbers to win the Champions League in reality. It's all dice roll to see who wins. You need to go a lot your way to have a chance. That's true. There's a lot of. I guess a lot of the aspects to our forwards putting up big numbers has to do with our midfield as well, though, because it can't just be on them. Yeah. But we'll see. I understand. Yeah, Andrew's really pushing that they need fourth place. Yeah, we all agree. Juventus needs to make fourth place. I don't know. Right now, I'm just like I said. The only thing you can really do at this point is just take it one game at a time. See what happens, and don't look. Just whatever you do, do not look at the standings, because I did it once, and it's crushing. It's crushing when you're really trying.
I'm doing that.
No.
Every live, I'm asking Julian what the standings are, because if you ask me now on the spot how many points we have, I don't know. I'm not even joking. Like, I need to guess. I'm not looking at the standings. I'm just looking at who are we playing next.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah. Just keep doing that. I'd suggest doing that. Maybe
it helps.
If some crazy tournament events happens, and this month you see Napoli and Milan and Inter and Atalanta continue to drop points, and then all of a sudden if Juventus goes on a streak and wins all these matches, wins every single one, then maybe take a look after Christmas or whatever have you. But right now, it's crushing, to be honest. All right, guys. Can we get 2 more likes in here? I know you guys got 2 more likes you can throw in here to get us to 30. That's all I'm asking for. I'm begging you for likes. Do I just need to sit here in silence until I get those 2 likes? I'll do it. I will absolutely do it right now. Let me pull up. Let me see exactly. What do we have here going on for this weekend? I made a mistake. I pulled up the actual standings right now. And, that's where we are. Anyway, any other thoughts or comments you really want to go over before we wrap this bad boy up for today?
No, I'm good. I'm good. For today, I'm good. That's it.
Yeah, that's what we really want to talk about. Let us know, guys, if you have any other options or thoughts when it comes to what youth players would you like to see Juventus maybe use. Do you actually believe Allegri's actually going to stick with it? Let us know in the comments, in the chat, all that down below. And throughout this week, you can also reach us at all of our Twitter accounts that are always moving down here in the graphic down below. You got Janoti, you got me, you got Alejandro, and then you, of course, got the main bianconerizone channel. Also, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you that helped bring this the reason we're able to do this is that we're able to provide you with the live streams, with the daily videos, is thanks to that of our members. If you haven't already, consider checking that out. You get lots of cool features with that. You get the free wallpaper that'll be coming out. You get the different little icons. You get to use the emojis. And then also with the call-ins, we're finally going to get those up and running. We promise you guys we keep talking about it, but it's been a little bit of a mess. But we want to get you guys involved where you can actually come in. And when you're pissed, you can talk about it. When you're happy, you can come celebrate it with us and also give some of those hot takes. I've got a couple hot takes I want to share in the future as well. Anyway, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.